Good Monday. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seafried and Brew. Unemployment dropping to 8.6%. Just about everybody seemed to be skeptical about that number. People questioning it, how could it drop that far? Well, our chief analyst, Jamie Sumner, went in and looked at some of these numbers, and there definitely was some movement in terms of people employed versus people unemployed that threw it somewhat out of balance. But by his estimate, it still was a decline to approximately 8.8%. Still not bad when you think about it. So we want to look into the future a little bit. And what we've talked about before is that at least the trends are good. If we look at the 4-week moving average of jobless claims, we still have had a trend that is moving itself in a downward direction, which is positive. But I think that if we even go another step further, and we had talked about this in a previous webcast, that this was the first time that we've seen, for instance, with the 6-month state leading indexes, that states like Michigan turned green. Looking at this darker green for Florida, once again, this is indicating 1.5 to 4.5% growth, which is fantastic. When we look at it from the standpoint of the West Coast, that dark green on the West Coast, which has gotten hit very hard during the Great Recession. So this was good news. And we talked about it that this is very predictive of state economies going forward. This would suggest growth rates in that 2 to 3% GDP area. This would also probably also say that employment is going to pick up in here, which will be a positive of continuing to see those jobless claims moving down, and unemployment maybe not moving down as quickly as that 8.6%, but still making strides. And this week we have even better news because this comes out on a monthly basis. Take a look at this carefully and then look at this. This is incredible news in here. Amazingly enough, Michigan predicted to have growth greater than 4.5%. One state that has had significant problems, Georgia, going into the green zone, predicting in that 0 to 1.5% growth rate, which is really wonderful. But now look at the southeast coast, really turning the dark blue greater than 4.5% in South Carolina, dark green 1.5 to 4.5% growth for Virginia, North Carolina, and of course Florida continuing. Texas turning from a light green into a dark green. And we've seen other states out west also doing much better. So when we think about this, with the stalwarts being here on the East Coast, having continued growth in here, joined by other states around the nation, this prediction would suggest that we're going to have even more employment growth in here, more financial growth that could maybe top over that 3% level. And this is very good news for us as a nation and as we move forward over the next 6 to 9 months. This is Jay Brew, co-chairman of Seafried and Brew. Have a good week.